Hello, everyone. Hi,
Hi.
Terry. Hi, India.
Hi. Hi,
Hello.
guys.
Thank you so much for joining me in this amazing Q&A session that we're going to have for our clients so that they can get to know us on a more personal level. And I am Diana from the Awakening Empress.com. I help people who've been in toxic relationships to set healthy boundaries, love themselves, and so that they can feel whole again. And now I will allow Terry to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Terri Smith, and I am the founder and CEO of Freshen. I help the active millennial make the transition to natural deodorant so they don't have to switch back. I consider my line an all natural skincare for your underarms because we're all about underarm health here at Freshen Up. So our goal is to either help you to make that transition to natural deodorants, and so you don't have to go back, or to help you to just maintain healthy underarms. So that's who we are. We're Freshen Up. And thank you. Passing the mic to
Great.
India.
Thank you.
Hi. Thank you, Terry. My name is Endia Henry, and so I started a wig cap company after wearing wigs when I was going out of town for work and wanting to maintain my natural hair, but wanted to just not use the stocking caps that you can buy at the regular beauty supply store that was drying my hair out. So felt like there was a gap in the market for this and wanted to provide something that was helpful to me, but also helpful to other women that wear other type of protective styles or wigs or hats and things like that, where you can have that protective barrier to maintain and keep your hair that grows out of your head natural, healthy, and growing however you want it to grow.
That is wonderful. And so our session is actually called Beauty from the Inside Out because everything starts internal, whether it's our thoughts, what we have in our heart space, what we actually put on, right? And how we can protect our outer shell so that we can feel beautiful. And so I want to ask you, Terry, what made you or what guided you to create this product? And do you use it on yourself?
Oh, I certainly use it on myself. We use it, everyone in my household use it. So a little bit of backstory on how Freshen Up came into being. It was actually when my daughter was entering puberty. And I was looking, she was at the stage where she would need to wear deodorants. So I was looking for natural deodorant that was suitable for my kid. I didn't want it to be chock full of chemicals. So, and I'm telling you, this is probably about 7 years ago. So I'm thinking, yes, the market will definitely have something because natural is pretty much popular. It's not like it was. Don't want to give away my age, but it's not like back in the day when I wanted, or my parents were, looking for something to use on me. Lo and behold, I could not find anything that was suitable enough for me. It was still stuff labeled natural, but those are what I call naturally inspired. They have naturally inspired like ingredients within them, but they're not truly natural. So that was like very frustrating, and it led me to start to create my own products. So first up, I created a roll-on, a traditional roll-on, because I have a full line of products, actually 4 products. So it's not just a deodorant. I created a roll-on at first, but my daughter would go from soccer to dance, and it was not convenient for her. I wanted something that was able to move with her. We were just a busy family, So then I ended up creating my bamboo wipe. Then that led to me using creating a body powder, because in the Caribbean we use a lot of body powders to help absorb sweat and to stay cool. So that segued into that. And the final, I guess, piece of the puzzle was me creating my underarm detox. I actually didn't realize what I had because I created these 4 products and thought they were 4 individual products. Didn't realize that I created a system of products that was geared to help people to make that transition to natural deodorants. Because if you know, people are like they dread transitioning to natural deodorant. They're like, it doesn't work. I hear it all. So it's definitely not an easy thing to segue into, but if you have a system of products, it really does make a big difference. Because I think the expectation, I call it the Amazon effect, the prime effect. We're accustomed, we're going to buy something and I'm going to get it tomorrow and I expect to get it tomorrow. I think that's how we approach life in general. And it's just the way we live. And it's not me necessarily laying blame on anybody in particular. I think that's just how we are. Because by God, I swear, if I order something from Amazon today, I want it tomorrow. I want it tomorrow. And we tend to treat results from our own bodies the same way. If we want to lose weight, we see this ad, we want it done within a quick space of time.
We want to lose that weight
We want
immediately.
to lose it right now. And I think we have to kind of get rid of that mindset when we're talking about like trying to move into more of a healthy wellness aspect. Because what these products are geared to do, they use chemicals to be able to accomplish that. Just like Amazon have like a whole system of products, and it just works for them. But when you think about like in terms of a small business, you just don't have that manpower to get it done the same way. So coming back to your deodorant, the natural deodorants do work, because all these chemicals are actually inspired by some sort of natural element. I'm talking about your aspirin, I'm talking about every drug known out there. They were inspired from something natural. So if the natural didn't work, then they wouldn't have cause to create these things based on these natural products. They just work differently. So that is just my main goal. So when I created these products, I ended up having a system of products that really was geared to helping my daughter through her transition in puberty. And then I realized that it was a line of products help people to get through that transition to natural deodorants, and also to help them maintain healthy underarms, which is always the end goal. So and yes, my entire family use my products because it's safe enough for a baby. I designed it specifically like that, with very little chemicals, with very little preservatives, only just enough that it needs to maintain that shelf life.
Okay.
So the powder, my son used it when he was a baby, the body powder. The deodorant, my daughter was able to use it when she was like all 7 and 8 year olds. So I specifically designed my products so that you can use it anywhere in your body and anyone can use it. So yes, we use it in the Smith family.
That's awesome, because I was gonna ask you, I know that you created it with your daughter in mind,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't have daughters. I have boys.
Oh, boys.
I'm like, I wonder. And then you just said, "Oh, my son too." So I said, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, it's
So
as
they'll
you
be
know, it's
transitioning pretty
train
soon
them
to
from
that.
young.
Yes.
Train them from young, and then their bodies will get acclimatized, versus trying to do like when you're trying to reverse something. Unfortunately for most of us, we have already gone through the stage of using these traditional drugstore brand deodorants. So now we have to backtrack and try to reverse the damage that these chemicals unfortunately have done, or our body has gotten accustomed to. So it's a process, but we just have to give our bodies grace to get through it.
You said that, and right away my mind was like, "Oh man, I gotta say it." It's no different from healing our inner child wounds and our traumas, right? When we're going, so again, that's my big focus. I am a certified energy healer at the master level, also a life coach, and in my own process, I had to unlearn behaviors, um, visions, thoughts that I grew up with. And backtracking is definitely not an overnight process. I like how you mentioned, even with our health, it is not, I'm also a certified holistic health coach. So I definitely understand what you were saying about the detoxing and then the backtracking. It is not an easy process. It's not an overnight process. I'll
Mhm.
correct myself, but it is definitely, if you want to achieve that level of, I want to feel beautiful, I want to be healthy,
Mhm.
then it's that backtracking that we all have to do in our lives when we want to heal our inner child wounds, or if we want to heal our bodies so that they can, not only feel fresh, but also release the toxins, because that's also important.
Correct.
And now I would like to transition over to India, because when we first met and we were talking about her products and her services, for me, automatically, I went and I felt the energies of women who may have an imbalance in their body, right? Women or men that have suffered when they were children, or even through, their teenage years, even as adults. Um, and I'm just going to let you, India, just talk about your product and why I had that aha moment when we were, discussing our services.
Yeah, so and I kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier when I did my introduction, when
Mhm.
I was saying kind of the reason I ended up coming up with this product. And similar to what Terri said, just trying to search and did not see anything exactly like what I wanted to find. But just for me, and I'm still dealing with this now. Like I work in corporate America, and sometimes when you're going to certain places, I can go to small towns, I can go to big towns. Um, you may not be, our hair may not be accepted. That's just the truth. And so for me, with me wanting to grow my hair out and not have to manipulate it a lot, I reverted to, no, I don't even want to say reverted. I just used wigs um as a protective style. So one, I didn't have to worry about trying to get my hair together for work and
Mhm.
manipulating it when I was trying to grow it out. So that's where it really came from, and just being out of town and wearing and I pretty much have transitioned now to wearing natural hair wigs. I was first doing straight hair wigs, so now they're all curly. So, but when I was doing that, I noticed that I'm wearing the primary rule they tell you is wear satin or wear silk on your head at night.
Mhm.
And being out of town and being at work for 10 and 11 hours, like throughout the day, just having something like a nylon stocking cap on your head, I thought this has to be drying. Like, if they tell you to sleep in satin or silk, why am I having this thing on my head for longer than I would be asleep with it on?
Mhm.
And so that's where that came from. So I just started to search and see if I could find something. And I found a couple of products, but not anything exactly the same. And something where I wanted to be versatile. A lot of times I will throw a baseball cap on my head. So,
Me too.
right, yeah. So I'm just like, you know what? There's got to be some kind of way I can find something that will help maintain my hair while I'm doing this protective style, or wanting to just cover up my head for the day because I don't even want to style my hair. So I'm gonna throw this hat on or this baseball
Mhm.
cap or whatever and just protect my hair. Because at the end of the day, I want my hair to be healthy. I don't want my whatever weave or whatever to be a means to an end for me. I want to make sure that the hair that grows out of my head looks good and I'm okay with it.
Mhm.
So that's how it came all about.
Which
Okay.
is awesome. Um, did you want to say something, Terry?
No, I just said love it.
Oh, okay.
like like I mean, like, India, we talk, but I've never heard this like full backstory of it. So I'm sitting here just like, oh my goodness, with my wig and my nylon stocking cap on my head. So you know who I'm gonna be calling, right?
Soon as it's released, I will let you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because I recently cut my hair off because I didn't want to be bothered with it,
Ah,
but I still, I still didn't want, when I don't want to comb it and stuff like that. So I threw on my wig today. But
yep.
I never thought of the fact that that nylon stocking cap, even if I don't have it on for that long, but it's still drying. I'm gonna pay closer attention to it because I bet you it is. No, now that you, I told you, it has me like literally sitting here thinking, like, my goodness, didn't know. I know satin caps, but I never made the connection.
You probably like they're thinking about bonnets a lot of times because that's what you see a lot. Is the
Yeah,
big
Yes.
poofy bonnet.
yes, that I sleep in one. I have a silk scarf. I'm like, I don't like go to bed without it, even though my hair is like this short right now. However, I didn't even think about it because I wear a lot of wigs now, but
Ah.
I'm waiting, India.
Let's go. Let's go. Um, I'll share with you why I had that aha moment.
Mhm.
And it's because again, we meet a lot of different women. Some of them have a lot of hair. I grew up, as you can see, I have very curly hair. And I was always told, in the corporate world, I can't have my curly hair. It has to
Mhm.
be straight. So do you know how many relaxers I went through? It was horrendous until I learned. I said, no, I love my hair. Yes, there are times where I walk out the door and I'm a hot mess, but I'm like, I don't care. It's my hair and that's it, right? But there's also other women who go through hair loss,
Mhm.
right? Who have sensitive scalp,
Mhm.
who may not have any hair. And so when you were talking about your cap, I was like, like just a light bulb went off. And I'm like, imagine all of these other women that are going through, oops, and I
It's life.
and I turned it off too
This
because
is real life.
do not disturb. I will call you later. And that's my grandbaby who's calling. Ah, I'm gonna call him later.
Mm. Like, Nana, pick up.
Yes, I have two grandbabies now actually.
Mm.
Oh,
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes, it's all the all boys in my family.
oh,
Oh,
My
wow.
son has
wow.
2 boys.
You all are gonna throw a party when there's a girl at some point.
At some point, I don't know if that'll happen, but I'm a handful. That's what I say.
You're enough
I'm a
for
handful.
everybody, India.
Enough for everyone. That's too
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
You sound like my
But
nephew. He was like, I want to be the only boy, and so he's got all he has all sisters.
oh my god. See, there you go. The opposite, the complete opposite. Um, and so that's why I was like, you know what? I want women to know about the options and men because there are also men that require our services, right? Um, the importance of taking care of our internal so that when we look in the mirror, we are completely and utterly in love with who we are. And I think that's the appropriate word, in love, because we tend to fall out of love with things very quickly.
Mhm.
But to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, I love who you are today, with, our patches of hair that may be missing, with, short hair, long hair, dry hair, curly hair, you know, breasts, no breasts, tummy, stretch marks, whatever the case is, and see our our scars, that we were able to heal and say, I love you completely, no matter where I am. And I think that is what is key, right? From bringing out that beauty that is already within us. And once that is aligned, that's the word I will use, aligned, because we're never going to be perfect, but
Mhm.
aligned, then that beauty will outshine in our external. And detoxing,
Mm.
right? Protecting our scalp and our hair is important, right? We want to not only feel good, but we want to be good, right? Internal and external, what we show to ourselves in the mirror, and then what we show to the external influences that are around us.
Mhm.
And I just think it's so important. And a lot of people do not put those together. They think that, oh, I'm gonna work on my inner child healing, but I'm still going to use toxic, harmful products, right? It doesn't go that way. We have to work on our internal um, stuff, and once we do, and our chakras are just aligned as they should be, it's like that spark just comes alive, and everybody sees, hey, Terry, what did you do? You look different. Did you lose weight? And you're like, no, I didn't. I'm taking care of my inside, and it's reflecting on the outside, right? That's what we do.
I mean, you
That's
only
Yeah.
what,
have one body. Might as well be happy with the one you got.
yes, yes, exactly. No matter the type of body, the shape of body, the color of our body, you know, our features, we get one. And
That
when
is
we
true.
take care of it, it will allow us to just be more in touch with ourselves. And we don't we shut off the outside influences, the outside noise, right? Because, like you mentioned, India, there are other products out there, but they dry out your hair. So I started paying attention just to the simple fact of gel. I said, "Wait a second, when I use these types of gel, my hair just comes out more drier, and I don't want that anymore. I don't want to harm my hair more than what it's already been harmed. I have parts of my curls where they are curly and other parts where they're completely straight. Why? Because of years of relaxers that I grew up on. It
Mhm.
wasn't my fault, right? That's what my mom said, no, in order to deal with your hair, we got to put the relaxers on. And it's like, and it dries your hair. And so when we want to, I'm just trying, there's so much information coming down right now. When we want to feel good about who we are, it all starts with the inside. And raising our consciousness, being more aware of how we're feeling, the products that we're consuming, right? Because that's what this is about, what we consume on a daily basis. It's either going to elongate our life or it's not going to.
Yeah. And I like the fact that you used the word protection. Like even throughout, you know, my journey, as a businesswoman launching my line, have you gear my products are geared to help, help you for a specific purpose. But I never looked at it as a form of like a protector. Like that's your first line of defense. You want to protect yourself. And even when you talk about your inner child and the healing, that's a form of protection, and once you feel protected and secure and safe, you just glow, you move differently, you act
Mhm.
differently, your body will react differently once it's taken care of and protected. So when I think about the work you do, Diana, and then the work you do, India, with the wigs, like when I put on my scarf, because I'm always in a headscarf once I'm at home, and I've never understood why until I started doing my own inner child, work and healing. It's I protected my crown, and it always made me feel secure. It's almost like a security blanket.
Mhm.
And I just feel the need it protects me, it protects, but it protects more than just my hair. It protects my self-esteem. It protects how I view myself. It protects how I think other people view me, you
Mhm.
know? So, this whole idea of, beauty from the inside out, I just like how you put it, with using that singular word protection, because at the end of the day, you know, once it starts there, I think it blossoms into almost like a full blown, I don't want to say a cage, but a full blown, what do you call that? What's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like a moat. You have it, that's you right there. And then there's the outside world outside. And then you could venture out, but it's harder for those who don't know the terrain to come in,
Mhm.
right? Unless you allow them to come in. So you are able to protect yourself, just like with the things that you use on your body. If you
Mhm.
avoid using certain things, it's harder for them to come in. You want it to let out, which is the easiest thing. You could roam freely, like when you're surrounded by a moat and stuff like that. But, like when you talked about using relaxers, I used to work with a pathologist couple years back, and I was always very curious. And so he would bring me up when he's like examining the body parts, like lungs and whatever. And one time he brought me up when he was examining a brain, and I was just like, I didn't realize it was a human brain until he told me it. It was so dark. It was like dark. I mean, like black. And he said, this woman has been dyeing her hair for most of her life.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
It was black. So when we talk about protecting, we want to beautify ourselves, but at what cost,
Yes. Oh
right?
my God.
At what cost? So maybe I don't care for my grays, but India makes a product that allows me to cover up that gray. I
Yes.
put on that silk cap, it protects the hair that I have, and it allows me to cover up that gray so I can feel more protected. I can feel more secure, right? Because we don't want to cause that kind of damage. And the damage, unfortunately, that happens is damage that we cannot see.
Right.
So we don't even know it's taking place
Right.
until like years down the line, where it's like hard to reverse at that point. So every time, like when I talk to people, I said, it's not a scare tactic. Like I have witnessed this myself. Our skin is the largest organ on our body, right? When we talk about the trillions of cells that allows all the chemicals that we're possibly exposed to, and I'm even talking about emotions as
Mhm.
well, to be absorbed into our bodies, right? And so you have to pay attention to the ones that we can't control. We can't control the environment. We can't control that,
No.
right? We can control what we eat. We can control what we put in our body. And when we think about the average woman, before we leave out the door, typically our average woman might put on 5 to 9 products. That is like statistically, that's the fact, the amount of products that we might put on our bodies before we leave out the house. So, if we do the math, the amount of exposure that we're exposing, so we have to pay closer attention to what we're putting on our bodies. Hair,
Mhm.
skin,
Mhm.
and even emotionally what we take on, right?
All of it is, like you said, you're absorbing it the different
Correct.
ways.
Mhm.
I was going
Correct.
to ask you actually, Terry, because I'm pretty sure, like for some people, I'm sure you've gotten feedback about probably like how the change, like everybody uses, the probably goes natural with their deodorant for different reasons. So I'm
Yes.
sure like people have told you different things
Oh
about
my
kind of
gosh.
either how they feel or how maybe other like deodorants that you get, the commercial ones are, is too much for their skin
Yeah,
or
yeah.
impacts other things that they weren't even thinking about.
Oh my gosh, it's like a range of feedback I get. I get the ones who said, they researched or they heard that it might be related to breast cancer. And that's like one of the biggest things that I usually, especially when I'm out and I'm doing like any kind of pop-up shops, I'm always telling women, I said, listen, our lymphatic system, which is basically your body's sewage system, three-quarters of it drains into our left underarm. And then breast cancer is more prevalent on our left breast. Now, research will not back that up for many various reasons I will not
Mhm.
go into here.
Yeah,
However, you have two facts that are very much aligned. I'm using Diana's word.
it's
Very much
okay.
aligned, right? They won't connect them, but they are aligned. And if you put one plus one, it will equal two in this scenario. So, so I implore women, I said, there is something there. We don't want to wait till right now where they have the big issue with Johnson and Johnson and the whole uterine cancer scandal that they have going on with the talcum from the body powder.
Oh, yes.
On tobacco, it took them many years. That minute they knew it, they had that one plus one alignment all along, right?
Mhm.
But until certain things align with, because we're a consumer industry, really pushed by money and all of these other issues which should not control just doing good by people. But unfortunately, that's the society that we live in. But
Mhm.
it took them umpteen years for them to actually admit that that is what the products were doing when the facts were there. So I always implore people, don't ignore the facts. There are better
Mhm.
choices out there, So I have those who come to me concerning the breast cancer, scare that they might possibly feel. The ones who say, you know what, I didn't even realize going natural will allow me more freedom. And for a lot of people, they don't realize that once you transition to natural, you're not dependent on a deodorant anymore. Your
Mm.
body does what it's supposed to do, which is which is get rid of toxins via sweat, and right,
Mhm.
and then your odor is not what you think it is. We were trained and socialized to think, oh my gosh, I am a smelly mess if I don't put on this deodorant. Where we got to the point where we don't even know what we naturally smell like. And we assume what we naturally smell like is something repulsive when
Mhm.
it's actually not the case. Because when you think about just being at home with your partners, and after you shower and you're there and you probably hang around for a couple of hours, are you repulsive to whoever you're around? No. But we're
No.
so socialized to think that we have to, and they had us dependent on these products that when you come off of it, your body rebels, like completely rebels. So then you run back scared. Same way like with some women, I'm guessing, like with the wigs, with their hair, it's just like they don't want, almost to the point where they don't even think that they should even maintain their hair. They don't care about the hair that's going under that stocking cap, which is what I love about what you're doing, India, because we have to treat what we have like so good. It will be so good to us if we treat it accordingly. So what you're doing is basically showing like, hey, yes, you have this outer thing to help you, with your confidence and to help you in your life and make it easy and sustainable. But what about the thing that you were born with? Right? What about your hair that you were born with? Like, so how do women, like when you tell them what you're doing in there, like, do they pause like how I did, and like take a step back? And because I did not make that correlation. I'm still sitting here and like I did not think about that.
The funny thing, so like this is literally not even that old. So I am just now starting to share and talk about it with people. So I am excited the way that you all are making the connection with it, because you're helping me kind of find ways to make that connection with people. You start off with, like you did the product, you start off with, let me figure out a solution to fix something, but you're not really thinking you're fixing something for you, not really for
Mhm.
anybody else. But then you figure out, well, this is a problem probably everybody else has, so let me try to do something about that. So it's kind of like that where I'm literally learning from you guys on like the things that you're making connections with, and it's like it makes me excited and happy, and I'm grateful to even have had the discussions with you all about it because I'm just, it's like, I don't know. It reminds me of like Diana when we've had this conversation. You can see like Diana's like trying to hold all her emotions in. Same with
No,
me. I'm like, oh gosh, so that's how I feel.
that is exactly how I
You
am in
know
the
me
market.
well.
That is exactly how I am in the market when I have people come up to me and when I say something, they're like, you know what, that is right. It gets me excited. It gives it. I think I think we need daily reminders or just reminders of why we're doing what we're doing, and it helps to just increase our creativity. It helps us to know who we want to reach and the people that we could potentially help. So yeah. Let me tell you, I'm still blown. I'm gonna ponder on this tonight. I could tell you about it, and I'm not.
So now the big question is, when will your product be available?
I don't have a date yet, but I am working towards
A quarter
fall of this year.
at the end of this year?
Fall.
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 Okay.
Yeah, so
Yes. All
that's
right.
the goal. Fall of this year.
And you know what? Right on time. Because what do we do during the fall? We like to protect. We
Cold
like to
weather.
wear hats, even if you may not be wearing wigs. I'm a hat person. That's who I naturally am. So even if I'm
Okay.
not wearing a wig, I will have on a hat. So it's coming in the time when then your hair is even drier and more brittle then, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. After
Okay.
Definitely
all
from
that cool
those
time.
states where you have cold weather. Yes.
Yes. So perfect timing.
Mhm. Absolutely. And there have been many a times where I'm like, I wish I had a wig because I can't with this hair today. I really can't. I can't with this
That's
hair
why I
for the
cut
last
mine off.
3 days. I can't.
That's why I
And
cut mine
I
off, man.
haven't ventured out, but I see like all these women. I'm like, oh, I wish, I wish, I wish. And you are now going to like bring me out of that shell. And once I purchase your product, then I can buy a wig.
You're gonna get your wig.
Yes.
I'm like Terry. I'm like a hat person. Like you, this is a rare moment where I decided to like not twist my hair down all the way.
Uh,
Usually, I'm like it's twisted down, and then when I'm in public, that hat is on.
Listen, before I knew I had to get on this call, I was out running errands. I had on my hat. So I had hat hair. I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't work. I can't do this right now. So I went and found my wig.
I
So
hopped
yes.
in the shower and I said, I definitely can't show up with my puffy hair. See, it's still wet a little bit.
Okay.
Bring it
Talking
all.
about talking about beauty, right?
Right. Look, we're all talking about like you're doing what you feel, and all of us have different things that we're saying, or we're doing what we feel is acceptable, works for us, and it's going to be different for every
Yeah.
person.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
It
it's
makes you
totally
feel
what
good.
you do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes you feel good. It just
Yeah.
makes you feel good doing whatever it is and I think it's just little changes. You
Yeah.
know, when people I think when they hear things like this, healing your inner child, they like think it's this monumental thing. And it doesn't have to it can't be accomplished like overnight, you know what I mean? But if you take little steps, we can get there. Same thing with your hair. Like you found India's cap and you want to wear it and you're like, okay, great, I want to protect my hair, but it's not gonna work overnight. Is you have to constantly work at it. You have to wear it
Mhm.
constantly for it to do its job, to allow
Mhm.
your hair below there to be protected. Just like with the natural deodorants, you have to stick to it and not
Mhm.
go back and forth. So I think that the idea with just
Consistency.
is consistency. Yes.
Consistency and finding a system, like you said,
Hmm.
that system creates that barrier and that protection
Mhm.
Yes, indeed.
to, you know, do whatever it needs to do to keep you whole.
Keep you
Yes.
whole. Yeah.
Oh, I love this. I knew that we were going to have an awesome collab time. And I really hope that all of our viewers will feel the same, that they'll feel this energy, that they will get the most important points that they need, right?
Mhm.
We're all on a different journey, but I know that there's something from this um, collab. I don't want to call meeting because I think we're having too much fun for it to
It's
be
a
a meeting.
conversation, just real
Conversation.
Right.
women
It's
There
a
you
having
go.
conversation.
having a conversation. Yep.
Yes, I love
About real
that.
things.
Real life, real
Mhm.
women
Hmm.
who have, families, who have businesses, and all we want to do is just make a difference in one person's life and let that be that ripple effect, right? And I don't know why, but I'm being called to
Mm.
do a angel card
Oh,
pull. So
okay. It's been a
I'm
while
gonna go
since
with
I had
it.
one of those. Let's see.
Let's see. What is the message? And I will share that I've only done this for myself, but lately God is like, no, you have them. I needed to use them. So let's go.
Okay.
So I've been using them. Let's see what messages our angels and archangels have for us. And I'm using the Divine Feminine Oracle card. Very appropriate.
Very.
And these are like regular, like size cards, like the
Yep.
size of a playing card.
They're a little bit bigger than regular
Actually, they
playing
are a
card.
little bit bigger. You sound like a professional
Shuffle
person over
Card
there.
player.
Like you go to the
No,
casino and they're
I'll
like,
tell
play
you.
it out.
I'll share with you a
You
little
just hear them shuffling.
backstory.
I was like, if I was shuffling those cards, it would not sound like that, and some of them would be on the floor.
Um, no, I had two uncles who, one of them, God rest his soul, he passed away last year.
Mm.
But both of my uncles, they worked in Atlantic City in the casinos. So every time they would come over when I was a little girl to see my mom and us, they always had cards, and they're like, here, let me, try to show you. But I was young, but I would watch them. And ever since then, like that has always stuck. And
Oh.
my children are like, how do you do that? I'm like, do what?
Like nothing.
Right.
I'm just shuffling. That's all
Yeah,
I'm
no
doing.
one wants me near their card table. So
Same
just
here.
saying.
Oh.
Just saying.
Let's see. What messages do you have for us, angels and archangels? And so, just because they are divine feminine, this is for our male viewers, it also applies to you. We all have divine feminine. There, oh, we're
Oh,
back.
there we go.
Yeah. Just in case they didn't hear me, we all have divine feminine and divine masculine energies. So, whatever card comes out, then it's just for your divine feminine. So, spirit guides, angels, archangels, ascended masters, share a message with us tonight. What message do you have for us? Oh, that's too much, so I'll take the first one. Oh my God. When I tell you that synchronicity is all around us, and the card is, I don't know if you can see it, white buffalo calf woman, and she's the prophetess of the sacred way. And she says, my heart is a compass. The path of love is true abundance. We have been talking about beauty from the inside out. All of that has to do with our chakras, especially our heart center, right? Because that's where love radiates from. When we work on our internal systems, I'll use that word, our internal systems, our compass, right? That love grows into self love on the inside.
Mhm.
And once we embrace that self love, it's going to radiate outwards. And that will call in the true abundance, which is love, which is self love. And I think that this is a beautiful way to um, to end this amazing. What did you call it again, Terry?
Conversation.
Conversation.
Conversation. It's just it's perfect. I think it ties everything in, right? We talked about beauty, we talked about our inner child, healing our inner child, our chakras, we talked about detoxing, about taking care of what we not only put inside our bodies, but also how we expel that out, right? And then you with India just protecting what we already have, adding that layer. It is just, it's amazing. And so I want to thank you, Terry. I want to thank you, Endia, for spending this time with us and with our viewers. I truly hope that each and every one of you got something from here that is important to you. And all of our information will be down in the description box for when you're ready to reach out to us. And I thank you and sending you love and light.
Thank you.
Yay. Thank you so much.
Just stay there.